Why, welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, which I know all of you do, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and you need to click that bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. It feels great to be back with everyone. Greg, Todd, again, thank you for the super chats. Never expected, always appreciated. Love the support, and really happy to be back. I just, quite honestly, the time off, I wasn't planning on taking that many days off from the live stream. Thankfully, which we'll get into in a moment here. This was during a period I've been setting you guys up now for a little while now with this chip chop that we were expecting. So none of the price action should have taken you by surprise. We'll actually revisit when CBG left off on the last live stream and today's price. We'll see how much price has moved. It really hasn't done a lot. So, but yeah, just needed to take some time off. Sometimes it's good to get away. I've had a lot on my plate, kind of getting hit from different angles with different things, and so just really a bit of mental fatigue. I'll probably get into it, at least certain aspects, maybe on a CBG podcast. I'll have some things to share with everyone. Again, I think when there are opportunities to just, again, be authentic and share something that's going on in my own personal life, and I think that I can share that in a way that will help at least one person. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take those opportunities, right? I have this platform. Doesn't matter how small or how big the platform is. I still think in many ways, when you have a moment to kind of share something to have some impact on somebody else's life in a positive way, you got to take those opportunities, right? So I'll get into some of that stuff on a CBG podcast, but good to take some time off. I haven't been charting, guys. I haven't been charting at all. Been on Twitter, kind of here and there. I've even been off Twitter. Really haven't been going on social media too much. Good to even just disconnect from social media. Spending plenty of time, a little bit more time outside, just trying to get away from the computer and just kind of decompress for a bit. So it's been really nice, and I hope everybody's been doing really, really well. I'm not sure how long today's live stream will go. It'll go at least 30 minutes. I'm not going to really be cognizant of time. I'll dedicate a portion to TA Q&A where I'll answer your TA questions. I want to make sure to have enough time to do that. And also, I'm not going to be live tomorrow. I'm not going to be doing any live streams, but I will be back on Monday. So starting on Monday, we'll be back to the normal schedule here. We're getting right into it. The bull market waits for no one. And of course, as I've said in times past, if something unexpected happens on Sunday, we get some sort of monumental shift in volatility to the up or downside. Of course, you can count on me going live for the weekly close on a Sunday. I'm not anticipating that, but we'll be back to my normal schedule starting on Monday. I missed doing the live streams the time I was away, but it felt really, really good just to disconnect. It felt really nice just to disconnect from a lot of different things in many ways. So hope everyone's doing well. Let's see who we have in the live stream here as well. Christian, welcome in, my friend. Oof. Good to see you in the live stream always. Oh, yeah, Greg, I felt like I needed to give you a special shout out. Tau got listed on Binance, which is, great news. It was just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time until it gets listed on other major exchanges that it's not on. It'll be on Coinbase at some point. In all seriousness, from what I was reading on CAS's listing on exchanges, it ranges from everything between, there needing to be some sort of a upfront amount that needs to be provided to the exchange to get it listed. But then also I was reading from an infrastructure standpoint. If you think about it, Caspa is a very unique form of technology. It's not an ERC20 token. It's not going to be as easy to list just from a technology standpoint. So I think that's also some of the hang up, but just a matter of time until it gets listed, in my opinion. Dear God, Chris Daly, let's fucking go. Thank you so much for the super chat. Never expected, always appreciated. Loving the support. Really appreciate it. The donation is on behalf of the XML Relief Fund, where we are laser focused on a $100 target. It's pretty realistic. You've been doing your homework. You've been doing your research. The macho man who clearly would have been an XLM holder. Yeah, we can. XLM really hasn't been doing much, but but I think as long as you keep your price targets reasonable, and I think $100, anywhere between 90 to 110. You heard it here on All in the Charts, 90 to 110. Daily coming in hot. Love to see it. Oh, man. Yeah, man. Tao looks like it wants to jump up into that top 20 for sure. All right, so where to begin? Now, I think the place that we could start here is what we're seeing in price action. So again, I have not been charting. So all these charts that we're going to be taking a look at before I get into the TA Q&A segment here, these are charts I have not been monitoring. So I will be looking at them live with you for the first time in several days. So the first question that we should ask ourselves, let's just take a step back for a moment and kind of revisit what I had shared with you in terms of expectations. So I expected for at least half the month, maybe even going into the latter part of April, some chip and chop, right? Until Bitcoin made some sort of a decisive price movement, which I ultimately believe will be up, okay? Whether that occurs in mid to late April or it doesn't occur in May, that is my stance and nothing has changed. Now, this chart has evolved. I don't know that it's really appropriate to draw it like this anymore. I think something more... This is a 12-hour chart, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Nah, that's not even appropriate. What I would do, because really, when you think about it, we had it drawn like this. Okay, we broke the resistance. It was a fake out. We went back under here, and now we're back up right in this line. I don't like the way this is drawn anymore. I don't. The way I would draw this is like this. This is exactly the way I would draw it. So we're still in a bull pennant. The question is, are we going to break up or are we going to break down? Now, the last time I had done a live stream, it was exactly 1 week ago. It was April 4th, right? So we were we closed the day. Guys, come on, seriously. We didn't miss anything if you weren't here. We closed out on April 4th at just shy of $69,000. A number I used to be familiar with. $69,000, okay? Where are we sitting right now? We're sitting at $70,100. So here we are today. CBG said, bye-bye, not going to be here for a week. Didn't know it at the time. Bye. See you in a week. And a week later, here we are. And I'm back, okay? Not much price movement, right? Now, my audience is very smart. I have a very smart audience. And if I've done a really good job educating you guys and you've been listening and you have exercised your logical side of your brain over the emotional side, then what has happened is, as thumbnails, because I've seen them on YouTube, have come out with the word dumping, Bitcoin dumping, you should have seen the thumbnail and rolled your eyes. You never should have been clicking on any thumbnails that said Bitcoin is dumping, here's why, Bitcoin's dumping with the faces. It's, again, when there isn't a lot of excitement in the market and attention is sort of drying up, this is what not educators do. This is what content creators do to grab on those emotional strings to get you to view their video, right? Not on this channel. I don't do that bullshit. So I was seeing a lot of Bitcoins dumping, even, I believe even a prominent Twitter Spaces that is, or X Spaces that's on that platform. I think even they were using the word dumping, and I was so annoyed by it that I just tuned out. I didn't want to listen to it again because, again, I am not a subject matter expert. I'm not a subject matter expert in cryptocurrency or even technical analysis for that matter. But I think I'm extremely proficient and I'm very seasoned because I've been here invested since 2018. And by crypto means, by crypto standards, being invested since 2018 is a long time. And you've learned a lot of things through that process, right? So I've been here for, 6 fucking years. It's hard to believe. So 6 years I've been here and I've seen this game being played out before, right? Essentially, what is happening is, I'll paint the picture for you. Everything macro is screaming that we're going much higher, right? But on the lower time frames, okay, on that day-to-day, everything's just kind of chipping and chopping, all right? And content creators during the chipping and chopping, they're all vying for your attention, right? They need to put out whatever content they need to put out so they get clicks and views and engagement. That's just how it works, right? So what we need to do as very logical and non-emotional people is pay less attention to the day-to-day. Keep in mind, I wasn't charting at all, guys. For the past week, I haven't been charting. It was actually nice. It was refreshing. And I didn't really care. There wasn't anything going on. I'd check my portfolio every now and then. I'd see some tokens up, some tokens down, and I remain very unemotional, because, again, this market is not going to get real until two things happen, and we've spoken about it before, and right now we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin dominance. There's really two main things you can look at. First thing you want to watch for is for Bitcoin to make its decisive move up, okay? When Bitcoin starts to make that decisive move up towards $80,000 and above, that is when you're going to see a significant amount of movement within the crypto market. You're also going to see a significant amount of movement in the crypto market as Ethereum or Solana, whichever is first, begins to break its all-time high. Okay, you're going to see a lot of renewed confidence come into the altcoin space. But what's the other important thing that we want to make sure that we're watching, right? Again, we want to keep things stupid simple. There's a lot of different charts that we can evaluate, right? But what we want to do is we want to simplify our lives. And at this point, we really want to hone in on a few different charts to understand what is most and least likely. And so you got Bitcoin. I would also keep an eye on Ethereum and Solana, see what they're doing, how close they are to breaking all-time highs. Bitcoin dominance, guys. Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is still chipping and chopping, right? We got this red line. I had this drawn differently. This might be something I had tweeted out. Is this it? Here we go. So as you can see, and again, just to revisit this because we haven't looked at this in a while, we're really at we're at an interesting point here, because you can see there's a downward area of resistance here that we're pressed up against right now. Of course, we could always draw that differently as price evolves, but the main thing to keep an eye on is right here. This purple oval, okay, that's not a circle, that's an oval. The purple oval, you want to keep an eye on this line breaking, okay? Keep an eye on that line breaking. As well as, and again, we've spoken about this. Remember what I said about this upwards area of support on the RSI. Notice what is playing out on the relative strength index for the moment is literally going exactly according to plan, as I have been stating for months, okay? As soon as we broke this line of support, and this is something that people who don't do technical analysis fail to understand sometimes. So the price, I'll call it price action. The price action that plays out on your technical indicators, in this case RSI, because it's the one that I have found this to be the case most times on. The price action that is taking place on the relative strength index, in many ways, you want to look at it through the same lens as looking at the price data. So if we were evaluating price data and we had a line of support here, right? Imagine these are candlesticks. And all of a sudden we broke. What is most likely when we break this line of support? Well, we're going to come up here and it's going to be resistance, right? The same thing holds true with the relative strength index. What this is telling us is even though the relative strength and even though the Bitcoin dominance is maintaining a relative level, this is in layman's terms what we're saying right now. Recent price action is suggesting to us, even though Bitcoin dominance is actually a little bit higher and around the same level, the strength, the momentum within that buildup in dominance is beginning to break down. Okay, I do not suspect that we're going to get a weekly close above this line. You could see during a week we might push up here. But with a weekly close, I strongly suspect we're not getting above this ascending line. Okay, we're going to close below it. So this continues to express an area. The relative strength index continues to communicate to us weakness within the dominance, Bitcoin dominance. Okay, and this, as a refresher, this yellow topping zone, 77 to 73. This tends to be a historical area where the relative strength index tops out. And this is on a weekly, by the way, a weekly view. Okay. Now, if we put aside, and excuse me, you can also see descending resistance on the MACD, right? Descending resistance on the MACD. And interestingly enough, we're at a very interesting point. Now, I want to say it was maybe 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, I don't know. 2 weeks ago, probably. I had communicated, and I think I commented on Credible Crypto's posts, one of his posts. I commented that I would take an educated guess and say that Bitcoin's going to make that decisive move that I'm looking for, which I am suspecting, strongly suspecting, will be up. I believe that strong, impulsive move that we've been waiting for will occur either the week of the 8th or 15th, right? Could that be off a week? Could it occur the week of the 22nd? Sure. But it's interesting that the week of the 15th is next week, and dominance is coming right up to descending resistance here. The relative strength index looks like it might want to take one last gasp to come up here. And if we just focus on price action, we're literally right at resistance here in this zone we've been chopping in forever. I think next week's going to be a very interesting week. Next week is also the week of the halving, the Bitcoin halving. And I need to, I've tried to free my brain of a lot of different things, and I've haven't really been in the crypto scene. But it reminds me I need to reach out to Tony about coming back on the live stream. But I think next week could be a very interesting week. I don't know if it's going to be next. Nobody knows. I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after that, but it is going to happen very soon. And as I quite often have said on this channel, and we haven't seen it yet, but when this market really begins to move, we're at a very interesting time. And I saw a chart out actually recently. Why don't we take a look at this? Let's look at the Pi cycle. This is my top projection. Let's see how close we are to that. Okay. I have a top in July. When the hell did I do this? Interesting. Well, regardless, let's keep this on here. That's interesting. I don't remember doing this. Maybe I did this with you guys on the live stream. Anyway, we're at an interesting point in the Pi cycle as well. Again, we're on the precipice of a massive move within the market. The last time we were pressed up against here, you can see that this fast period moving average represented by the blue line is acting as an area of resistance here back in, it looks like, November to December of 2020, and then we punched above it in mid-December of 2020, and we were on our way, right? This coincidentally was at the same time, I remember this very distinctly, this was at the same time that Ethereum broke its all-time high, and you started seeing very large runs, right? Very large runs in your Harmony 1, your H bars, your your Mana, your Decentraland, the Holy Crypto Trinity. You started seeing very big runs in a lot of your narratives and projects, right? Well, if we fast forward to current times here, you can see we've gotten a bit of resistance, right? At this line here, okay? So I would suspect that as soon as we start punching above this line, which right now keep in mind, it's a moving average. So by definition, it's an average that's recalculated and moves over time based on emerging price data, right? So this is going to be a line that moves, but right now it is at $76,000, right? So I would suspect once you start seeing a push from Bitcoin at $76,000 and above, that is when you should really begin to take notice of this market. And it's really when you get a close above this line, so really up towards probably by the time it happens, the mid $76,000 range, okay? That is when you should start to see at the same time, conjointly, you should start to see Ethereum, Solana begin to break their all-time highs. That capital is going to rotate into a lot of your mid-cap plays. Your Tau is going to run. Your CASP is going to run. Your Matic is going to run. Your Cardano, your XRP will have its day, absolutely. It'll continue to flow down. XLM, not $100 right away, Chris, but wait for it. Just wait for it. Don't sell any until it gets close to $100. So really, what I'm trying to communicate to you is, and I hope this is really coming through in what I'm saying, patience. Patience on the lower time frames. Patience on the day-to-day. Everything big picture is telling us we're very close. We're very close. We just have to be patient and wait. And when we see that strong surge in price, it's going to be very quick. Okay, so it's going to be very, very monumental. Again, you're not going to see me really crack a big smile on this channel. You're not going to see that from me until we get the days when we wake up and, some of those mid caps are up 50, 60%. I do look forward to the day when you got a lot of these mid caps up 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80%. XRP and XLM aren't moving. And then the next day, they're up 70, 80%. Okay? Because this has happened. All we can use is past history to tell us what is most likely moving forward. And I'm just using past history to tell me more than likely we're going to see something extremely similar play out again. So allow me to continue to be the voice of reason that while I can't tell you exactly when we're going to see a breakout here, odds are we are going to see a breakup. Of course, there is a possibility, guys. This could be part of a larger correction where we do come down here, okay? We could come all the way down here to, say, $58,000 or $60,000 or $56,000. That's certainly a possibility. It's just I'm heavily leaning towards a break up. Some sort of a break up, maybe retest and continue up. But, yeah, everything macro, and it's why I'm so calm. All this time that I've spent in the market, seeing these things play out before, I am confident with how I'm allocated. I'm confident within the industry or within the charts, based on all the studying I have done, that these high time frames are telling us that we just need to stay calm, cool, and collective, be convicted. And unless if something begins to materially change on some of these higher time frame views, then just ignore the sideways chop. I mean, it's just, isn't it so telling that a week ago I told you guys to just stay calm, didn't know I wasn't going to be on the live stream for a week. And one more time, just to reiterate it, when I took off on Thursday with you guys, we were right there. Now we're right here. Okay, we haven't missed anything. There wouldn't have been a lot to honestly talk about anyway had I been here. And again, that goes back to the premise of how I started off the stream, or 10 minutes in, talking about people vying for your attention and putting on clickbait about Bitcoin dumping. Bitcoin is not dumping. It hasn't dumped in a while. This has been a strong impulsive move, guys. And if you really need to kind of reasonability check things once again, you can always zoom out to those higher time frame views. I mean, if we go back to my weekly expectations I established in September, I mean, is this not playing out beautifully so far? Again, if you're having a hard time controlling your emotions no matter what I say, better get it in check soon, because shit's going to get real and then you're not going to maximize your potential. But just look at these higher highs and higher lows continuing to come in here. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, this is literally the definition of an uptrend, okay? So it doesn't matter if it's taking a week or two longer than you expected. And in fact, in many ways, and I've shared this with you in the past, it's great that we're cooling off. We're allowing our price indicators to cool off so we don't get too overheated too quickly, right? By doing so, it should theoretically lend itself to having more momentum to push us to the upside, okay? So it's awesome that right now we're doing exactly what I projected out 7 months ago, okay? We're cooling off right in this area. It allows all these price indicators, while still in territories that suggest we're going to see massive upside, we're not at this 90 to 95 area. We're at 81. We're above 70, which is what you want to see on the RSI. MACD looks great. Stochastic RSI is extremely healthy. All things we want to see to lend itself to a higher probability that we'll see a higher blow off top here. Whenever that comes in, whether it really does come in, what do I have it? In July here, I think. Oh, this is in June. I have this painted. Okay. Whatever. Whether it comes in May, June, July, August, September, October, it doesn't matter. These cool-off periods will lend themselves to a nice base being formed to allow us to kind of take off. And again, and I'm going to get into your TA questions right now, so feel free to drop your TA questions. Again, no matter what your stance is on Bitcoin, you want to see Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana do well, okay? And the reason is, if those three projects in particular do extremely well, that is going to be think of it this way, that is going to be a money generator, and it's also going to be a mood generator, okay? People will be a lot more frothy and excited about the market if Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana goes super duper high, right? There'll be a lot more momentum within the market, which will eventually, like a tidal wave, flood into your altcoins. If these projects underwhelm, there's not going to be as much capital rotating into your altcoins, right? So you want Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana to do well. You need them to do very well. But it all starts with Bitcoin. Okay. Let's get into your TA questions. Yeah, appreciate the engagement, guys. Again, takes 5 seconds to hit the thumbs up button. If you appreciate someone who's not putting clickbait on the thumbnails and genuinely is assessing the market and sharing with you for free, would appreciate the support as an educator in the market. It's the YouTube overlords. The YouTube overlords have governed YouTube content creators in a way that my content is judged based on the interaction. So you might be sitting there watching and really enjoying the content, but if you do not engage with me and you do not hit the thumbs up button in particular, dropping comments, if you're not doing those things, YouTube says, this guy can go live every day all he fucking wants to. We're not promoting his content. Like, clearly it sucks because no one is watching and engaging with him. And the only way you get your watch time up and the number of followers and all those things is by hitting the thumbs up. It's like a domino effect. So do appreciate it. All right, let's see what questions we have coming in. Of course, I'm going to prioritize Super Chat. So Greg and Todd, I don't see any questions from you at the moment. Oh, okay, so Greg does have a question here. Todd, I saw your ooh yeah from Macho Man. Ooh yeah. Voice is coming back from the surgery. I can hit some Michael Jackson high notes. Now, don't ask me how I know that, but all right, let's see what else we got. Greg, question. I think it was about Uniswap, right? Where are you at? Oh, what do you think about the SEC going after Uniswap? Yeah, I think it was just a matter of time. Of course, you saw. I didn't look at all of the DEXs, but I saw Uniswap or SushiSwap sell off in addition to Uniswap. Of course, if we just remove the charts for a second and we fundamentally talk about what the SEC is doing here, this is actually okay, let me just state two things. One, it's not surprising this happened. Was waiting for it to happen. This was not surprising. They're going after everything, okay? It's a power grab. Right? We all know this. If you've been here, this is a power grab, right? Nobody's trying to protect anyone. The SEC is not doing this because they're trying to protect consumers. That is not what this is about. If you think that the SEC is going after decentralized exchanges like Uniswap because they're trying to protect consumers, you have your head up your ass. Or you just got into the market and you really believe they're acting in your best interests. Okay. This is a power grab, right? So they don't like having control taken away from the central authorities who have control over buying and selling, right? Centralized exchanges they can control. We can already see that in the United States, the government in general favors, because BlackRock is now in bed with Coinbase, they only favor one exchange, which is Coinbase, right? So every other exchange can go to hell. Just a matter of time. The second thing I would say is this really is going to be a big, this is a big deal. This is a big deal because any potential ruling that comes from this will have a profound impact on the industry. Thinking of losing DEXs would be a monumental blow to the industry. A ridiculous thought. And a monumental blow to the industry. So it's something we do need to follow very closely, for sure. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any other questions from the super chatters. So let me get into your questions in chronological order here. Let's see what we got. Oh, wow, we're already at 30 minutes. I can really blab, can't I? All right, let's see what we got. It feels really good to be back out here. I do look forward to this portion of my day very much, believe me. I appreciate this comment. And the reason I appreciate this comment is because I love agreeing to disagree. There are people, great example, and I'll read the comment in a moment here. Thank you, Steady, for sharing that comment. I'll read it for everyone. I'm going to listen to it a second time. I watched the podcast, the PBD podcast where Peter Schiff was on. And I'm listening to Peter Schiff and I'm reminded of why I oftentimes find myself listening to him and why over the years I've gained a tremendous amount of respect for him, because his viewpoints and the way he articulates things, I completely agree with. It's just when he starts to talk about Bitcoin, he sounds like he's either being disingenuous or he sounds like a moron. And that's where he loses me. But I really respect his views on so many things. I agree with him. And again, I think it just comes from the fact that he's a libertarian. I don't talk about politics here, but, if I had to define myself politically, I would say absolutely libertarian without question. So, so let's get to Steady's comment here. Hi, CBG. Can I say over the last 2 years, I think he meant to say, I can say over the last 2 years, even though I have disagreed with you at times, which is healthy, it's good, I have really appreciated the work you do in the live streams. Thank you, Steady. Guys, it is healthy to disagree. It's great to come on here and disagree with something that I do. And I find on the live streams, I don't get this as much as I would actually like to see, which is somebody will ask me to chart something, but they won't ask me a fundamental question on charting. It doesn't happen a lot. Or they don't question something I'm doing. Maybe there's a way that I'm looking at the chart that isn't necessarily inappropriate, but there's an alternative way to look at it that might add value, right? So feel free to call me out and share something with me, because I don't know anything. I don't pretend to know. I don't know anything. Wow, why the hell are you tuned in? I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything, and I never will know everything, right? It's a learning journey, this whole thing. So my expertise should evolve over time, and some of that is based on hopefully dialogue with other individuals, assessing their viewpoints, some of which could be yourselves. So thank you for the comment. Jorge, it's always good to see you in the live stream. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. A few people that are respected in the crypto space are expecting a huge move to the downside, mid-50s maybe, capitulation style event. Any comments? Well, there's nothing, I mean, honestly, I've been away from the charts now for quite some time, right? But there isn't anything, there really isn't anything. Let's look at the monthly. We haven't looked at the monthly. There's nothing going on in the charts that is suggesting to me that we're going to see some sort of a big move down. My best guess, based on a lot of conjecture that I've listened to, there's nothing going on here, my friend. I'll take an educated guess based on what I've been listening to. Because again, I do check out other educators or content creators in the space and what they're putting out there. Not even necessarily because I highly value the content, but I at least know there's eyes on it and it's some form of a consensus within the industry. And I always want to have a beat on that, right? That should make sense. And so what I would say is my educated guess, based on kind of still following things and that, because I've heard a little bit of that, people still believe that something needs to happen pre and post halving, right? Haven't we had this discussion for months now? And can we just put that to rest? Like, nothing needs to happen pre and post halving. I've been saying on this channel for a long time, that it is a huge mistake to make a hypothesis or have a high degree of conviction based on one single date on a chart and saying, well, this is what needs to play out because here's what always happens around the halving. I mean, you guys know this if you've been here, right? I've joked with people. I've kind of trolled the Bitcoin maxis by stating that some people have this 4-year cycle yellow brick road theory, right? And so my best guess is that people look to the past. They look at that one halving date, and they say that, well, the Bitcoin price has always dumped right before the halving, which I don't even know is the case. Maybe we can take a look at that next week. But that is my guess. And so, educated guess based on what I was hearing. And so I would think at some point, I kind of hit on this before, I hit on this last week. You would think hitting an all-time high before the halving, which has never happened before, would make a lot more people in this space, a lot more, if the people who were saying something needed to happen, right? Your Benjamin Cohens, your whoever the hell else was out there, Scott Melker, whoever these people were, back here stating that Bitcoin was going to be in this range. No, I'm sorry. Whoa, lower. Bitcoin was going to be in this range up until the halving, which I thought was nonsense. Guys, I was out here telling you it's nonsense. Everybody was following the same. They were in an echo chamber, guys. They were in an echo chamber, right? And I was like, that's not what I'm seeing. And then we busted a nut, right? Up. I believe the same thing is happening right now. There are a lot of people that refuse to evolve their line of thinking. I think in any academic space, and this really is an academic setting, charting. I think in any academic setting, if you're unwilling to evolve your line of thinking, you will be left behind. Right? So I'm always open to the idea that this thing could completely fall apart and we could come down here. I don't see any evidence of it. I'm completely open to the idea that we could, I just spoke to this, that we could correct down to 58, maybe 56, 59, 60,000. I'm very open to that. I just don't see that in the charts right now. And I refuse to allow one date in history to tell me that that's the reason that we're going to see it. I have not seen any technical analysis, recent technical analysis, that strongly suggests that we're going to see some sort of a strong move down. I have just read about the halving. And people just refuse to let go of this one date in history having these repercussions on price, which is just not the case. You can't abandon technical analysis for the halving. It's just nonsense. I've been saying that for so long. It's a fundamental principle that guides. The halving is a fundamental principle of Bitcoin that is one of the main aspects of why I greatly appreciate the technology and why one of the reasons I loved Bitcoin when I first got into this space, right? Fundamentals got me into this space. I use the technicals to aid my investment decisions. Sometimes when you make a statement or ask a question, I go on and on, right? It's just who I am. It's just the way it is. And Greg, he is right. Jorge is correct about what he's saying. I have seen this kind of talk in some spaces of the industry that get attention. People refuse to let go of a narrative. They just refuse. They operate in this echo chamber, and their line of thinking doesn't evolve. Rashid, always good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. Always, always, always. Thank you for showing up for the live stream. Charting question. Jason, yes. Let's see. I actually did Puff Ventures. What the fuck is that? 2018. Wow. That was a long time ago. I think that might be a marijuana stock. So, fun fact, I actually was in Turbo. I was diversified. Again, I have a couple really small bets on some meme tokens. One of them, Oof got me into, which is Meme AI. So I have a small amount in Meme AI. And I was in Turbo. I actually swapped out my Turbo for some Meme AI. I was like, yeah, let's go Meme AI. I'm on board with Oof. So this one right now on the weekly, this is looking beautiful, guys. I mean, again, I think this is one of these charts where you could pull your 4-year-old into the room and they could tell you what's going on. It's pulling a Super Mario. All right? We're just stair-stepping our way up. Mario's jumping up all these stairs. I was thinking of taking a day this week to game, but tomorrow's going to be too beautiful of a day. I'm going to be out and about Friday and Saturday. Can you imagine? I'm a social butterfly. I have plans Friday and Saturday. Could you fucking imagine that? Sunday's going to be a day of rest, though. That's too much excitement for me. So right now, I love what I'm seeing here on the weekly. I mean, we are just creating higher highs and higher lows. There really isn't much else to say. Price indicators look great. Stochastic RSI looks like it might want to cross up. RSI is beginning to slightly curl up. We got a downward area of resistance here. Again, I'm trying to keep this really stupid simple. We don't need to overcomplicate this. Downward area of resistance. Where do I want to see support hold? I'll create a little region for you. Oh, beautiful. I like that. Right. We'll keep it right there. Yeah, ultimately, I just want to see this area hold. Okay? I just want to see this area hold. You can read what the numbers are to the right. There's a whole lot of zeros in there. It's like a 4-5 to a 6-2. But that's what I'm seeing. And then areas of resistance. I mean, there's a couple, but really it's about breaking the all-time high. This chart looks great. This chart to me, once meme coins, it's funny, people think meme coins are overheated. I mean, clearly, you have not been here if you think that. it's becoming very evident that one of the absolute strongest, and it may turn out to be the strongest narrative of this entire cycle, are social tokens, meme coins. Why do you think I'm so... why do you think I've been not promoting? God, I don't want to use that word because I do not promote any projects. Dear God, no. Why do you think I have been sharing with you charts on Doge, charts on Shiba Inu, charts on WIF, and charts on Pepe? Okay, my two largest meme coin holdings are Doge and WIF. Okay, I own Pepe. I own Shiba Inu. I own a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of Meme AI and a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of Baby Whiff. But those are my big plays. So bigger meme. And the reason is because I understand the narrative, not to mention the fact that they have strong charts. So understand these things. There's going to be at least one more social token that breaks up and wants to try to push towards top 10. You mark my words about that. Whether it falls short and it ends up at 15 or 13 or 11, it doesn't matter. One of these things, at least one of them, is going to try to break the top 20. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I think it's going to be WIF, but we will see. Man, I really have to take a piss on a side note. Oh, man. Drinking too much. So I was drinking... before the live stream, I was drinking bladder is full. I was drinking a green shake. So let me tell you about the green shake real quick, guys. You want a nice, healthy green shake? You got the frozen blueberries. I did a little pineapple this time. I got some fresh pineapple. Wild blueberries, some pineapple, a lot of spinach, a fuck ton of spinach. And then I have two different green powders. I did a little bit of the green powders. They have all sorts of shit in it. And then just some bone broth protein powder and some whey isolate protein powder, vanilla flavored. It turns out good. It tastes really good, actually. Trying to up my spinach content, my dark leafy greens. Been eating a lot of spinach lately. It's good also for the condition. I mean, I've been reading about foods that are good for someone with a lot of the health complications that I had run into that I shared with you. And spinach is one of the best foods that you can consume. So I've been consuming it pretty much on a daily basis. At least one serving, if not two servings a day. With a lot of the price being pushed by ETF buys and those people aren't buying alts. So do you see? Nope. Greg, I'm just going to tell you right now, no. Do you see a smaller altcoin season than you? Nope. So I love to see Peter Brandt coming out and tweeting or posting. Maybe there's not going to be an alt season at all. That makes me feel even more confident that there's going to be a massive altcoin season. Again, why do I feel so confident there's going to be a massive altcoin season? Because of the charts. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but the name of the live stream is all on the charts. So my view is, again, and this is why, I'm not going to shit on any projects. I was about to take a shit on a project, but I'm not going to. Let me just say this. This is why when I'm making a decision between two projects, and let's say, from a fundamental perspective, I feel good about one, maybe stronger about the other, but, I think they're both promising. And I look at the chart, and one chart is massively bullish on both the BTC, ETH pairing, and USD pairing, and the other one is not really looking the best. Where do you think I'm going to put my capital at, right? So the same thing with these altcoins. The charts that I've been sharing with you for months would suggest that more than likely we're going to see a very strong surge in altcoins. So no, I do not see some sort of small alt season. No, not at all whatsoever. One of the things you'll find, Greg, and Greg, I forget Black Oil. I forget how long you've been here. I honestly forget. Based on some of the projects you share that you're invested in, I would venture to say you're an extremely intelligent individual who's been here for a while. But I don't know that. I forget. One of the things you will see are narratives change very quickly. You will see The narrative change from Bitcoin to Ethereum, if that ETF gets approved for Ethereum, which everyone is taking a shit on, which I think is a mistake, you'll see a lot of attention come back to that and ERC20 tokens. It'll shift to Solana. Then Solana breaks down all the time, so then it'll shift to other layer ones. Meme coins are the best thing since sliced bread. That makes me sound like an old man using that expression. Meme coins are the best thing since sliced bread, and then all of a sudden they're garbage when they start correcting, right? There's these narratives change. The narratives are nonstop changing. So no, I have no hesitation there. Can I talk about Caspa? I would love to talk about Caspa. Let's take a look at Caspa. I haven't charted this in quite some time here. Let's take a look at the week. Let's just take a look at the weekly. Okay, so what do you see? I'll tell you what I see. Again, I love to consistently, I love being very consistent. Now, first off, what did I just tell you a little while ago? I said that you can look at price indicators and decipher very similar things from the price indicators as the price data, right? What do you see here? Oh, I don't know. I see a pole and a pennant on the MACD, right? That was a horrible drawing, but you get the point. I see a bull pennant on the MACD. Now, let's get away from the price indicators. Okay, there's probably more information we can decipher. Yeah, stochastic RSI looks like it wants to cross. Let's just look at price data. You tell me what happens every single time we start to get below this blue line. This is the 10 simple moving average on the weekly. You tell me. Actually, I don't want you to tell me. I want you to bring in your 4 or 5-year-old child, and I want you to tell me what price action does. Boom, 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 and a boom. All right? Boom, boom. It does a boom, boom. All right? In technical terms, the price does a boom, boom every single time that we're under the blue line. This is your time to be buying Caspa. Your time to be buying Caspa isn't, I'm super excited, I'm going to buy it up here. I'm going to buy it up here because it's doing what I want it to do. No, the time to buy, if you know a chart, is when no one wants to touch it and they're sick of it, right? Wasn't I the person that created a video literally the day before it broke out when I said, if I've ever seen consolidation, this is consolidation. And literally, the day the video published, we broke out, okay? Well, if I've ever seen consolidation, this is looking like more consolidation. So let's just be patient. How about that? Caspa looks fucking fantastic. Waiting for that move to get into the top 20. Yeah, oof, we can take a look, my friend. I haven't paid any attention to the stock market, to be honest, as I shared before. Ooh, we touching on, we getting close to an hour on all in the charts. I'm going to need to step away at a moment because I need to have dinner. So, I don't know, man. We're chipping and chopping, like... Yeah, I mean, we got this little cross down in the MACD, which is never good on a 3-day. You don't want to see that. Momentum's kind of running out down there. I just say when you're in doubt, zoom out. Like I don't. Again, we're in new all-time high territory, and we're just consolidating. I really don't. Trying to look for something that's really alarming to me, concerning. You could, no, that's not a fair point. Yeah, we haven't crossed down. Now, something that could spell further downside, taking a very quick look at the chart here, something that could spell downside would be a negative cross on this MACD on the weekly. That is one thing you could watch for here. So ideally, we would not want to see a cross down on the MACD on the weekly. And that's what I would have you focus on, Oof, is just the higher time frames. Yes, chipping and chopping. Let's see, April 4th, where were we? Ooh, April 4th, we had that big red day, right? So again, let's assess where we're at right now. When I signed off with you a week ago, we were here on this awful day, and now we're here. So, I mean, essentially, we did one of these things for a little while. We're just consolidating in here, you know. Obviously, you want to get above this huge red candle body here. You want the S&P to start to push above. You want to start to see the S&P regain upwards of 5,300. That's really what you want to see, which would actually take us into all-time high territory. I don't have any concerns, Oof. I don't. Again, I would look at the weekly, and I would assess if we start to see a cross down in that MACD, but just kind of quickly looking at things, I don't have any concerns. Memology. Yeah, my friend. Matthew, thanks for this channel, CBG. Could you chart shapeshift? Man, I haven't had that question in a while. Are you serious? I thought Okay, now I know we've charted this before. So if I pull this up, it should, my bladder is going to explode too, so I'm glad this is going to be the last charting question. You can see we charted this before, but we had all these areas of red resistance, and it looks like we did what I had commented on. We came down to this yellow area, this golden buy pocket here. We charted it all the way back here too. But yeah, now what's going on with price? Well, I'll tell you what I see. Immediately. This is on a weekly. Do you guys see a pattern on here? I do. Clear as day. Absolutely clear as day. Okay. We had a little bit of a pennant, right? We broke out from the pennant right here, right? This was a bull flag into another pole here. What are we doing? We're coiling up again. That's exactly what I see. So really, I mean, you can be more or less aggressive, but for the moment, it looks like this. Of course, we can reevaluate. You know, if price data comes down here, we're still in a massive pennant. You got a lot of wicks in here. You could draw this a lot of different ways, but I would draw something like that for now. Yeah, I see a bull flag. That's what I see. Now, again, in terms of air, I'm not going to redraw all these lines. Red is resistance, green support. I'm not going to redraw this stuff. But you can see we got a pennant here, you know, your areas of support. I would do the pennant play personally. Now, if you want to draw another area of support, though, you know, this right here is beautiful. This right here is beautiful. So anywhere in here between 9 to 7.5 cents. Areas of resistance. I mean, you can see it. Do I really need to chart this out? I mean, pretty obvious, right? I mean, I would just put it right. I actually like it right there because you got 3 touches. But once you start breaking about 14, 15 cents, we should start to fly. And then really, the nice thing about having a waterfall like this, even though it's painful if you got up anywhere near the top, there's not a lot of price confluence that's developed when, you know, it's something I've repeated on this channel many, many a times. But when you have such a plummet in price like this, it doesn't create a lot of price confluence, right? Tree with no tree branches, okay? And so there is your area of resistance all the way up at 33 cents. I really don't see a lot of resistance on this thing once we break out till between 22, you know, roughly 22 and 33 cents. I really don't see a lot of resistance. So once we break here up, this is really the first area I would expect to encounter some resistance. Guys, I appreciate the support. It feels awesome to be back with you. I am taking a much-needed day to go have some fun tomorrow, so not going to be in front of my computer, not going to be charting, not doing any of this stuff. Maybe if you follow me on Instagram, I'll share some stuff on there or on Twitter. But, yeah, I'll be out and about this weekend as well. So, everybody, you know, just stay patient. Things are looking sexy as ever. We're consolidating in here. Again, not concerned with the short-term sort of chip and chop. I strongly suggest that you not pay attention to content creators putting out thumbnails saying we're dumping, because we're not dumping. and let's just be patient until something changes within the higher time frame. I am very convicted that we are going to see a monumental shift up at some point relatively soon. Nothing about that has changed, and I haven't looked at these charts in nearly a week. So we're a week. So I will be back on Monday, and I will be back all next week. So until next time, everybody, thank you once again. Until next time, let's all spread awareness, and let's carry the education forward. Take care. Good to see everyone.